Hello everybody, welcome back to yet another video. Today we are going to be doing yet another build in my fun build series that I started and hopefully will keep up with. Um, as I really like doing these, I really like doing something different than just what's out there from meta, and this is bothering me and it's going to make my ADD flare. Um, I really just like doing something different. Now, as a disclaimer, just like my other video, these are more fun builds, as the series says. So not really made for like sweaty end game leaderboard chasing stuff. But you can do a lot in this game with these kind of builds: PvP, battlegrounds, dueling. You can even do overland content, world bosses, world events, normal dungeons, vet dungeons. As long as you really kind of understand and master and make this build your own too, this is made for fun. There now you can do um, tank versions of this. Obviously, I leaned more towards damage because I feel like due to certain things, um, you know, you can generate more ultimate doing damage. Um, so let's dive right into it. All right, so for the race, I chose a Nord. And the reason why I chose Nord, the reason why I think Nord is really, really, and I really hate to say this because I am a firm believer in play as you want and do what you want. And the last thing I want to do is really um, paint you guys into a corner and be like, you have to use this. The whole point of these things is go out there and have fun. But I think because of the stalwart passive, when you take damage, you gain 5 ultimate. This can occur once every 10 seconds. Because of this passive, I know it's not huge, but it means something. You know, it's really hard not to use Nord. And same thing with the class I chose. The class I chose was Necromancer because really of one ability, and that's going to be Necrotic Potency. That it also is like the bread and butter of this build. I mean, yeah, the sets help, traits and all this kind of stuff help, but this ability does a lot. Sap the lingering life from your fresh corpses, granting you 6 ultimate and healing you every second for 2 seconds per additional corpse. So basically, the more bodies, the better. Basically, is what that sums up to. Plus, while slotted, you take reduced damage, so it kind of helps you be a little bit more tanky, which necromancers are kind of more natural at. Um, the Mundus stone I chose was the warrior. If you don't like warrior, that's fine. You could even do something like maybe crit, or you could do penetration. If you're finding maybe even after you copy this build or make it your own, that you're still a little bit too um, not beefy enough, then I would go with maybe something a little bit more defensive. But considering the sets I chose, I think you need help with offensive, so I went warrior. Let's get into the sets. Wrong. No, it wasn't. I'm not having. Okay. The name of this build, by the way, is the ultimate build, or you can call it ultimate generation, or if someone's out there better with names, that would be absolutely fantastic. That's what I'm calling it. Sets and shows. Champion of the Hist, because it adds you gain minor heroism at all times while you're in combat, generating 1 ultimate every 1.5 seconds. That is huge. So basically, you're in combat, you're getting ultimate no matter what. Now for traits, I did mostly impen, but I did well fitted and divines. I'm probably gonna change this to well fitted too, just because I don't get a lot out of this after testing it. Um, Now, the second set I got into was Deadwater's Guile, and the reason why I chose this one, because there are, when it comes to Ultimate, especially now, there are a ton of different sets you could use. Like if you're a dodge roller, you could do Tava's favor set, which I believe um, when you dodge roll, when you dodge roll, you oh, it's a craftable set. When you dodge roll, you gain ultimate. So, I don't know why I thought that set was. Anyway, so I chose Deadwater's Guile because whenever you kill an enemy, you gain 14 ultimate. It really leans into necrotic potency. The more people you kill, the better. So for PvE, it would be Overland, so it would be public dungeons. World events tend to have a lot of mobs, trash mobs and dungeons. I think I just said that. No, I said public dungeons. This ability, teamed with this set, really kind of matches really well. Now, trait wise for jewelry, I went all robust, but you can do a lot of different things here. You could do protection if you want a little bit more armor, infused, however you want to do this, guys. This is your build. I'm just giving you a little bit of a foundation here, but make it your own. Um, Now, like I said before, because of these sets don't really like the meta now is damage, 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 really, or at least unless you go Mars, which is so there. Because of that, I did one weapon and spell damage glyph, but I had to do also two recoveries because I personally, I mean, other players don't do this, but I personally don't want this to be too low. Because if I'm in a longer fight, I don't want to be screwed all because I ran out of stamina. I want something here. Um, so that's why I chose that. For my weapon, I did sharpened, and I did a mace. Again, it's really just about making up for the fact that these sets aren't super damage sets that I'm using, and that's why I chose Balorg as my monster set. And I chose medium again to help out because the medium passive, the more medium armor you have, the higher your weapon damage. I really hope I'm uh, not explaining this super weird or talking too fast. Um, but Balog's really great for damage because when you use an ultimate, you gain weapon damage equal to the amount of the total ultimate consumed and physical and spell penetration. So that also helps up for the fact that Champion of the Hist and Deadwater's Guile aren't like super damage sets. You could also, if you wanted to stick with the ultimate theme, um, you could switch this from sharpened to decisive, which generates you more ultimate too. I just like this. I just like sharpened again just to make up for the damage. My back bar I chose bow because, um, and I'll get into the abilities, but just because in PvP you're not always going to have the greatest chance to be in melee range, especially if you keep this flag. If you're like me and you're solo, but you still kind of like to work the map for really good fights, right? But you're not going to always be in a situation where the person's right there. You might be on a keep, you might be on a, and the best thing to do, you heavy attack, but then you throw those caltrops to hit that player, and now you're generating ultimate because you're in combat and you have wearing Champion of the Hist. You see what I'm saying? So that really comes in handy. For my bars, just like what I'm gonna do with CP, change these up to fit you. These are just what's best for me. Dizzy and swing. This is more of a PvP setup, by the way. PvE you'd probably do a little differently, but PvP, you dizzying swing, executioner, blighted blast bonds, necrotic potency. I have this on my front bar so that honestly, so I just don't forget to cast it. I'm pretty forgetful of my back bar um, and forward momentum because of the removal of snares and immobilization. So that's really good, but it also still gives me major brutality. Again, making up for that weapon damage, but also minor endurance for recovery because I just those long fights, you're gonna run into long fights in PvP, you just are. And you don't want to lose because you run out of stamina. And you're just not generating fast enough. Now, I choose Dawnbreaker as my ultimate mostly for the cost, but also, and I know it's unmorphed, insert comment here. The morph I'm gonna go with is the one that kind of passively gives you more weapon damage for the same reason I've been saying and repeating to the point where you've probably closed the video by now, is making up for the sets that I'm wearing. Because if I can generate ultimate really, really quickly, with these sets and look at the class and the race and whatever, but still be able to put the pressure on and be really good at damage, that's the goal. And also have fun. So Dawnbreaker is going to give me ultimate just because it's a fighter's guild ability and it's on my bar, but it's also going to give me more weapon and spell damage just for being on my bar. For the Slayer ultimate, I have 3% more weapon and spell damage because of because it's on my bar. I also have Banish of the Wicked, which generates ultimate when I kill an enemy, which is really, really great. For my back bar, I went with Resistant Flesh kind of just as a heal because of the hybrid thing. This actually is pretty decent heal now. Razor Caltrops, again, just to mark players, get me in combat who are far away, and get me this ultimate so I can go after them. This is just your armor ability. Get your armor up, your defense is up. This is your heal over time. And you pretty much want to keep this going as much as you can. I wouldn't say spam it because you run out of stamina pretty quick, but you want to keep this going as much as possible anyway. This also gives you minor resolve too, just to get you a little beefier, because if you're in melee range, you're going to be taking more damage than if you're in ranged. If you're far away, you have time to kind of get away from some of these things. When you're melee, you're not. You're going to be taking the brunt of a lot of damage. And so that's why this ability comes in. While active, you take 10% of the damage you take is transferred to the spirit. And it generates a corpse too, which is great for necrotic potency. It's like I'm a record and it's broken. This is kind of like your oh crap, ultimate if you're in a lot of trouble. And in your group, or if you're running solo and maybe you're overextended and you want to get back, pop this and now you can get back. It's a little more costly, but it works. Now the reason why, in case for people who don't play medium armor or don't wear medium armor, the reason why I had no light on, and these are two mediums, same reason as I've been repeating to the point where I'm making myself mad. Agility, weapon and spell damage, 2% per. So now for weapon enchants, you can do what you want. I do poisons to add a dot and to just really get the pressure up, but you can do what you want. CP, do what you want here, but I did Deadly Aim, Master of Arms, Untamed Aggression, Get Weapon, and this is kind of a flex spot here. You could, if you find yourself that you're still getting hit really hard and the duelist rebuff isn't really enough, you can, go with Ironclad, which it reduces the damage of direct damage applied to you. Or you can do dots, whatever. You could do reduce dot damage, reduce area effect damage, whatever is really killing you out there. Didn't go over red, did I? Red is, again, it's really up to you. I did recovery, max health. Pain's Refuge reduces your damage taken by 2% for every 2 negative effects on you, up to a maximum of 20. I just figured with PvP, you're going to have a lot of negative effects coming your way. And then I get more armor. Again, a melee, I need to be beefy. Alright, so let's do this. This. So that gets my spell resistance up to 28. So that's pretty good. You notice my weapon damage unbuffed is 3.9. Buffed up completely is 48, 4.8. And then that brings my stamina recovery 2 up to 1.1. Yum. So, yeah, I mean, and, you know, for food, you can do a lot of different things. I just have a lot of these, as you can tell. So I do these sometimes. This really works if you feel like, you know, you don't really need the magicka and you need more recovery. You can do the Cameron Throne. The only reason why I do the crown was because of, you know, a lot, even still, a lot of my abilities are magicka, and this one costs a crap ton, so that doesn't help. So yeah, I mean, that's it's pretty much it. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. It's late, so that's not usually that great for doing these and forgetfulness. But yeah, I think that's it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. I will be linking also, I did a ultimate build preview which shows, you know, I was doing some mobs in Labyrinthian, which are undead. And also keep in mind too, what, you know, undead people generate more ultimate from, you know, and how many people in Cyrodiil are vampires? I mean, really, vampires are like the thing to be, you know. But yeah, I really hope you liked the video, guys. I really hope you like these builds. I'm gonna be working on getting these out and just making sure, you know, that they're at least viable. I mean, anybody can put two sets together and make a build, but it has to also be viable and work really well, right? Oh, I said I would do tanking options. That's what I was forgetting. Now, if you wanted to be a tank, and so you could probably still keep Champion the Hist here. I would substitute Balor for either Baron's Zodders, which generates ultimate. Applying a status effect, which necromancers are pretty good at. To an enemy grants you a stack of Zodder's Ambition for 10 seconds, up to 3 stacks max, and you gain ultimate for that. And then another one is Blood Spawn, which it increases your physical and spell resistance, which is huge. But you, when you take damage, you have a 6% chance of generating 13 ultimate. So that's really good for like a tank. So that's what I would do there. For healers, it's kind of tougher for healers. I tried to think of a build for healers, you know, but I don't really. This doesn't really work for healers, I don't think. You know, if you're a healing, you know, expert and you have some ideas, feel free to share them in the comments with people so they know. I don't know of any. If you wanted to go Magicka, the only thing I would really change is honestly just the weapons. You could do dual wield here too, and have one be sharpened and one be decisive, or one be Nirnhoned and one be decisive or something if you would need a little bit more damage. Or you just like dual wield better, you could definitely do that as well. You know, just make it your own, guys. That's all I can say. Have some fun. That's what this game's about. It's game's about fun. And lastly, before I end the video, if you are new to PvP, the thing you want to keep an eye out on is your max health here. You really want your max health to be around 30 to like 35k, somewhere around there in PvP, just so you can last. You know, after that, you can focus on where you need your magic and stamina to be at, depending on what's going to be your utility attribute and which one's going to be your, like your damage and where most of your cost is coming. So yeah, that's it for the video, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed. If you didn't like the video, just pretend. It'll be between me and you. Alright, I'll see you in the next one, guys.